Have you had a culture shock in Japan?
Just how quiet it is at night.
Japanese people with dreads.
They eat by themselves.
Traditional style toilets.
I was gonna run away, you know? I don't know what was gonna happen. It was in Japanese and my Japanese is not that strong.
Hey guys and girls on Ask Japanese, it's your flashy fashion reporter, Kathy Cat. Today we're going to hit the streets of Japan and ask the foreigners about some culture shocks, and maybe they have some crazy photos they would like to share with us. So let's go and ask foreigners in Japan. Where are you from?
I am visiting from Los Angeles. Woo woo!
First time?
First time in Japan, but not the last time.
Exactly. So I have a feeling you loved it here a lot. Why did you decide to come in the first place?
Yes, it's been a dream of mine for quite some time, a couple of years. I feel like now is the perfect timing since we just seen the cherry blossoms. The fashion, the food, can I go on?
Yes.
I love it all. I love it all.
Okay, while you were here, what gave you a culture shock? Like in a good way? Or like in a funny way?
This is random. It's probably not a big deal to you guys, but there are no trash cans on the sidewalks. There are no trash cans anywhere. So that was a culture shock to me. It's very, very clean here. Very clean here.
Despite no trash cans?
Despite no trash cans.
So what did you do with your trash?
You know what? I held on to it. I held on to my trash because I didn't want to be the person that's out of the norm and littering or anything like that, of course. So I just held on to it. And then I finally found a trash can when I got back to my hotel.
That took a while, then you've been carrying it around for a long time?
Yeah, but that was only like the first day or two, and then I quickly learned, like, don't be carrying around stuff that you need to throw away.
I'm originally from Boston, and the subways out there get as crazy as the New York ones, where people are like erratic, it's always noisy and everything, and like just the culture of like, you know, being quiet, being respectful on the subways, and then like this was on the elevator, and it's like, so that one is something that like I enjoy personally. I love that it's not so chaotic and overstimulating with the noise, because that's what I'm used to. I've had people on the subway in Boston like drunk and like approaching you and like saying random stuff, and it's like,
yeah, here most people are quiet and polite unless you're like extremely inebriated people, and then like mostly the foreigners. The foreigners are the loud ones.
The other day I went to Shibuya and I was walking by myself. I was going to this tonkatsu place, and this random Japanese guy was like trying to talk to me, and I was with my headphones so I couldn't hear. I only heard and I was like turned around, I was like, yes, and then he's like, you're so beautiful. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, okay, it's time to run away. But then he was like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, okay. And then he pulled me aside. We took a picture. And then he was like, and I was like, okay, I didn't know what to say. Like, he was nice. And I was like, okay, I think it's fine. And then he was like, can I have a hug? And I said yes again. I don't know why. And I was like, okay. And I gave him a hug. And then after that, like, he went his way. He didn't even ask my number or anything. And I told my Japanese friend, I was like, this happened. And she was like, did he ask for your number? And I was like, no, he just asked for a picture.
He asked for a picture and a hug, but not your number.
No, he just like, I'm not even famous. I'm just a normal individual. But yeah, I was like very confused. I was like, is this normal? Is it just in Japan? Because it has never happened to me in the US. So
here it's my friend and I went to like Asakusa, and there were like a group of businessmen standing in like a circle like right at the front, and then they like grabbed her arm and were like, will you take a picture with us? And she was like, no.
So first of all, you don't just grab people's arms.
It was interesting. I was just not expecting that here, like the touching, I don't know.
Have you had a culture shock in Japan? If so, what was it?
I went to a KFC a couple times, and there were people just sleeping in the KFC because they looked so tired. I was just so bad. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, should I say something? I don't know. But yeah, just like people looking so tired, especially on the trains too. Like, just like, it's a common occurrence. I feel like I almost never see people like napping in public in the US. So that was definitely different for me.
Why do you think they're all so sleepy?
They work so much. Everybody works so hard, I think. Yeah, I hear about the work culture all the time, but it's interesting to see it in action, you know. I was like, I thought about working here for a time, but I see people getting tired like that. I mean, I don't know if I want to.
Fair enough. Yeah. How about you? What gave you the culture shock?
Definitely the amount of corn on stuff. Like, they put corn on pizza, they put corn on pastries, they put corn, like, if it can have corn or mayo, that too. Why are we putting mayo on everything possible? Like, why is there corn, pizza, and then with mayo on top? What are we doing?
There's the parks right over here. Super beautiful.
Oh, Yogi Park?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that in California. I mean, at least where I'm from in LA. So that was really beautiful to me. It's just so big, so green, so spacious, and I know it just felt like I just wanted to lay out myself, you know? So yeah, it was a bit of a culture shock for me.
I have an image of like LA having big parks. Is that not a thing?
They have big parks, but I feel like that one was so huge and so well maintained. Like, I feel like you wouldn't find a park as clean as that one in LA for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like nice and kept well.
Yeah, maintained for sure. Yeah.
Parks. Okay, what gave you the culture shock?
I don't know if it's necessarily a culture shock, but the thing that's kind of like the biggest difference for me was just how quiet it is at night. Just practically everywhere. It's so quiet. And I'm from Atlanta. It's a city, metro city in Georgia, and it's very loud there all the time. So that was very different. And then also just the respect, how everyone just respects everyone. I think that's a very different thing for me, for sure, that I appreciate the culture here has.
It was a little bit shocking for us that people here, they eat by themselves. Like in our culture, it's more like time for sharing with friends or family. And here we can see a lot of people eating by themselves.
Good point. There's even restaurants that tailored for that.
Like, what was it? Ichiran, that is like for one person only. That was shocking.
Do you have a culture shock?
Yes, there is no like rubbish bins in the streets, so we go.
You have to take all your trash home.
With your trash.
You carry it around all day.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a car bar. That was literally a car with a bar inside of it.
Okay.
So yeah, I have to show you the picture for you to believe me, but it was so cool.
So it's a car that's parked, but it has a bar inside?
Exactly.
Oh, it's a tiny car bar. Did you get anything in there?
I did not get anything, but it was another car that had live music, and so I chilled in there for a couple of minutes, but I didn't get anything from the bar. So yeah, I just enjoyed the ambience. It was pretty cool. I would never forget that.
What shocked me is like seeing a lot of Japanese people with dreads. That in general has shocked me, or like locks. That's been very interesting, shocking to see. Yeah.
Would that be something you could do in the US?
You could, but I feel like people are gonna be more vocal about how they don't like it. I think here it's like, I think more of like a style, like fashion style that they do, which I think I've seen people where it does look good, but it just shocked me to see a guy that had them tied up in his hair like with a bow. So that was
bow. That sounds kind of cute.
Yeah. It was like a red little bow. Yeah, like Minnie Mouse.
One of the traditional style toilets.
Oh, hole in the floor?
One of the cafes that we went to, that was the only toilet in their bathroom. So that was something new for me to use.
Oh no, my condolences. Yes. Oh no, those ones are not a vibe.
Yeah, no. It was definitely, I was like, how do I do this?
Those silent stares. Because in America, if you're staring at me, you're gonna usually say something. But if I see somebody like looking at me, I'd be like, and they go, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I understand. I guess I am kind of a different look.
Weirdly enough, I think it's the way that like animals are here in a sense. So for example, we were in Kyoto and I saw a person with a pet meerkat.
Wow.
Walking their pet meerkat down the street in Kyoto. I'm like, you couldn't do that in America. You can't have a pet meerkat that you walk down the streets. You need a bunch of like permits, laws, regulations and stuff. You come here and like, in the US, the most we have is a cat cafe, maybe a dog cafe, right? Go to Japan, they got an owl cafe. You can pet like 20 owls. They've got, I went to an otter cafe, capybara cafe.
Pig cafe.
Literally think of any animal that could possibly be cute in some way. And there's a cafe about it in Japan. And it's relatively easy to do apparently since there's so many of them. So it's like, there's like, an interesting culture where you had the chance to experience a lot of animals, but then there's also this twist side, which is like, there's not as much, I feel, regulation on the care of those animals. Like the owl cafe I went to was awesome, cool owls, but they're chained to like, wood. They're chained to trees. So their owls sitting there all day getting touched and chained to trees. So to me, that's like, if I were like a passionate person about animals, I'd be upset about that. And I don't think the US would be cool with that with like, like PETA and whatnot. They would be flipping out like crazy. But in Japan, it's totally fine. But at the same time, this is the one country I can go to where I get a chance to pet an owl. I get a chance to, sit in a cafe with miniature pigs and do really, really fun experiences with animals. And also they've got really good zoos, like the zoos in Japan, like Ueno Park Zoo and all the different zoos I've been to have had really good animals and they've been cared for really well. So it's like a dichotomy of like really great zoos and animal care, but then also what seems like very lax rules about like certain things like pet cafes, So pros and cons, that's like a culture shock for me, because in the US in general, like if you even like let your dog out without a leash, that's a problem. Like you're gonna have, you'll have to surrender them to the pound or something, right? So it's kind of like a different way they go about animals, I think,
The picture booth place.
You all look different.
Yeah, at first it was weird because, they put the filter before you take the picture. I could see like orange around my mouth. I'm like, did I not clean my mouth? It was very confusing at first, but then like we went out and it's the whole process is just so different than in the US, because we just take picture and you're out. But here you can like put little stickers and all of that. And I'm like, that's so cute.
I have yet to do that, so hopefully we can do that today. Yeah, okay.
There's one literally right over there. I'll point you in the right direction.
Thank you.
Recent cool thing I found in Japan is like they have sunscreens that collaborate with a lot of anime, manga, and game characters. Currently, there's not just the Kirby one, which is the one that I got, but it's like Kirby sunscreen. But there's also currently One Piece and Pokemon sunscreen collabs. I kind of want to get them all, but I don't need that many sunscreens. Japan is, I think, right now knowing a lot of the tourists that are coming in, they're definitely going to buy this. And hey, it's good sunscreen. Like, make sure you're staying safe this summer. But there's something else here that has shocked and surprised foreigners when they came to Japan. Be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I'll catch you soon on Ash Japanese. Bye!